Hey everybody, welcome to episode 50 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, man? You okay?
I'm really good. It's episode 50. It's a big achievement, isn't it?
I know. To be fair, we were planning on doing like a milestone episode where we do like clips for the best ones and listener submissions and things. But with Blood Bowl 2020 hitting, with Snotlings landing right now, we thought we'd just do a cheeky Snotling special instead. And we'll save the milestones for later. We're coming up on 50,000 downloads. That we could do a giveaway for that or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Plus all the bonus episodes and stuff is probably more like,
yeah, I don't know what we're on.
At least.
60 something, I think. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's great fun. So yeah, big thank you to everybody out there who's actually listening and participating. It's great. It's been really good fun. And Ben, it's been great having you join the crew. I think you've passed the threshold of most episodes as co-host now.
That's an achievement.
You're in the mid to high 20s, I think. I've spent a very
stop being a guest now.
Yeah, you are. You're an official co-host. Hey, you've got the mug and the t-shirt.
Better shave my head then. Be the other way.
Earn your place. No, that's wicked. Okay, cool, Ben. We've already said it's a Snotling special. What are we talking about on today's episode?
Yeah, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Snotling team and going through the spike, our favourite parts. We'll talk about Snotlings in Blood Bowl 2016 and also how they're going to be in 2020 and the usual games, hobby, and star players.
Absolutely. So yes, as Ben said, we're going to talk about Snotlings for Blood Bowl 2016 and Blood Bowl 2020. Because I think we're about to hit the point where there's both being played. And when we put it out to social media, we said, which one do you want? And basically everyone said both. It was mostly in the form of memes. So yeah, that's what we took it. So we're going to run through the 2016 rules and we're going to run through the 2020 rules for you as well. So by the end of this show, you should be on Entoyment ordering your Snotlings if you've not got them already.
Oh, that's such good fun.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Right, we'll talk more about that in hobby. For now, it's over to news. Okay, let's do this. It's news. We've got a few bits to talk through. I think we've mentioned this one before a couple of times. We've got the Norba Miniatures Kickstarter for Bretonnians. It's due to go live on the 5th of September, which is today. Now, I will try and get a little video up on YouTube when it goes live detailing what it is. But what we did was we ordered some of their knights. And yeah, we received them a couple of weeks ago now. I don't know, back in the before times. Ben, what did you think to the quality of their fantasy knight miniatures?
I'm really impressed. If you've ever had a board game from like Cool Millie or not, like Zombicide or something like that, or like Blood Rage, they're extremely similar in quality to a PVC board game miniature. Just not like, they don't quite have the flex. They're quite solid and stiff.
That's good. You don't want too much flex, I think, when it comes to miniatures like that. So we picked those up because, well, you know, fantasy miniatures are great. I'm going to use one as statues, I think, for Dungeon Bowl. But I thought we'd had a look. The size, they are smaller than Blood Bowl stuff. They are Warhammer Fantasy scale. But we asked Norba, we said, hey, you got your Blood Bowl stuff coming. Are they the same size as your fantasy models, or are they Blood Bowl scale? They said they are bigger than the fantasy miniatures. So I think they should scale up quite nicely. I think they'll be a little smaller than Blood Bowl miniatures, but I don't think it's noticeable. I don't think it will be noticeable.
It's one of the Games Workshop ones, probably, but Games Workshop scale is pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got pretty chunky, these guys. But they're still gonna dwarf the Snotlings. And I mean, what did we talk about last time? Was it that we're about £30 with postage for 16 players?
Yeah, which is just unreal.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this team come out, and that is with Bretonnians being dead. But we had a look, and they've got 4 knights, they've got 4 bodyguard kind of dudes, and they've got 4. They've got a bunch of linemen with kind of Empire style, Warhammer Empire style. I think these guys will do absolutely brilliant. if you want an Imperial Nobility team before the 2020 box.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the thing with every Bretonnian team, isn't it? It's not going to be too difficult to convert if you wanted to. I'm sure we'll see some kind of Bretonnian comeback though. Like there'll be community rosters or Secret League, you know.
Well, there is a Bretonnian list in the Secret League. Yeah, I would like to see community rosters if Games Workshop don't include them. They won't. I don't think they'll include them in Teams of Legend if there is a Teams of Legend PDF when it goes live for Blood Bowl 2020. But yeah, I'm genuinely a bit worried about Slan, Khorne, and Bretonnians.
I think Bretonnian have the biggest chance of coming back, even if they get remade. Like we're seeing Imperial Nobility, so acknowledging the Empire, right? So we're gonna it might be that in a future update, Games Workshop make a Bretonnian team and release a new roster because they've shown they're creating new ones. They're still visiting old Warhammer lore.
Yeah. It would be really, really interesting and probably a little bit terrifying to see Games Workshop produce a Bretonnian roster. Now, honestly, now that they've carved apart the community roster for the Nobility team, I don't know where they could go with Bretonnians.
It would be quite different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, I don't know. I know this seems really optimistic of me, but I can see them bringing Slan back.
No, they would. I think they would go the Blood Bowl 2 kids level route if they were doing that.
Oh, good point actually. Well, I don't know. I can just see them doing something. They brought the Zote back. They brought Zote all the way back from 3rd edition Warhammer and Rogue Trader. I can see them doing it. I can see them bringing a Frogman team back, whether it runs like Slan or not. I can see them doing it. I can see them just pulling the trigger. However, I say it wouldn't be anytime soon, but we've seen 3 new teams drop with the Snotlings, the Black Orcs, and the Ability. They've changed up the Necromantic roster with the Whites being introduced. We are in a very different edition of Blood Bowl now, or we're about to be. And
it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it is really exciting, and it'll be more exciting with Frogmen. So come on, Games Workshop, let's bring back the Slan. If not, there'll be a bunch of good community rosters, I'm sure, and we've already had loads of chats about it on our social media pages. Even if the community can't band together and create one, we'll put out one. We'll get everyone together and build it. I think there's a billion people out there at the moment doing that. Anyway, I digress. Norba Miniatures, 5th of September. Have a look. 30 quid. Get a Bretonnian team. Just enjoy it while you can, and then claim its nobility. Because that is such a sweet point, and they are intending to do all the teams, to do alternatives for all the teams at the same price point.
Oh, I love that.
We could be looking at the Warlord games here of Blood Bowl, or the Mantic games of Blood Bowl, and I don't know, just that price point is so sweet, and the sculpts they're good. They are good.
They are really good. Yeah, I would not be disappointed at all. They're clean. You know, it's not like a resin miniature.
No,
like a high quality resin, but it's a plastic miniature. I'd be pretty happy with that. And at 25-30 quid, you just cannot complain.
That's exactly it. I mean, I bought many of the Games Workshop teams just because they are that cheap. I mean, Ben, you got the Fanath team. I know you haven't really had a chance to look at it much with everything going on, but that was what, £60 for a team of 16 guys and a big guy and everything like that.
And we said that was good.
That was good. That is resin. The detail on it is a little bit, 10% more cartoony than the Games Workshop stuff.
Probably. I'd say these Norba ones are crisper than the Fanath resin.
I agree. These are, the actual production of the plastic is crisper, and the details are a little bit less exaggerated. I think these are going to go just fine. They look like historical miniatures, which makes a lot of sense given some of the other stuff that the company produces. Sculpting's good, guys. This is definitely one to watch. What else have we got?
Speaking of teams that might not exist in a few months.
Absolutely. We've got the Fight game, so that's FITE, Foxtrot India. FITE. It's too late. It's too late. I'm too tired. FITE. It's an Amazon team. Ben, you've had the privilege of having a look at this team a little bit more than I have. So why don't you give us the rundown?
Yeah, so we were made aware of this through Facebook, and they reached out to us, the one of the guys from this company, and said, "Yeah, like, are we willing to, like, take a look? So tell me what you think." And we were chatting, and I was able to test print one of the models for him. So I've been able to print out and verify in person these new Amazon sculpts, which there will be. I think he's got some of the positionals, and then based on the result of the Kickstarter, the rest are being unlocked to stretch goals. But you should get a full team, plus a big guy if it gets to the end as well, which Amazons don't have, but it would be pretty cool to have, so you can run it as a human team.
Well, you might need to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, really, really nice models. They're extremely realistic scale, so they're quite thin, but they're like realistic human proportions, and that is kind of a breath of fresh air when it comes to Amazon teams.
It is. They are reasonably appropriately clad. They are dressed as athletes, and they've got additional armor strapped to them. It's very reasonable. I would not be embarrassed to have this team if, and I think there are people out there who have daughters and things, which they do consider whether a lot of these miniatures are appropriate or not. I think these are absolutely fine.
Totally appropriate. It's like what you'd see in like the Olympics, isn't it? Like
it's exactly like what. Yeah, it's exactly it. They're dressed like runners, but they've got the Greco-Roman skirts around them.
The braided hair, for like real Amazon style.
Yeah, the teams look cool. Ben did call it. They do look quite slight, and I was taken a little bit aback by it. But I think, like you said, that's just realistic proportions. We're not used to seeing at 30mm scale.
Yeah.
They look like when you printed them, were they slight enough that you were worried about damaging them, or are they good to go?
I handled them with care.
Yep.
I supported them. I don't think they're coming pre-supported, but he said he may look into it if it's successful.
That's good,
because that's a little bit of extra work. But it wasn't that hard. It didn't take me that long to support it, to be honest. Because I think some of them would be harder than others, but the one I printed had quite a standard pose, which is quite easy to do.
So this sorry, I was just going to say this is going live 25th of September. That you can get the team in resin for an average price. I think there are two different packages. One's 60, one's 80, which is very standard for Kickstarter. But they're also doing the STLs for something like 25, and that is why Ben got a chance to print one, is because they said, look, we've got these STL files, we're doing it as well. The people who've got printers, and I think that in itself is going to be really beneficial, having the two options.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is what he said, which was a very fair point, is that he already has the files. Why not sell them? I mean, we might see more companies do this, because
it would be, it's free money at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, no extra work required.
Exactly. Fight games at that point are, for all intents and purposes, just making £25 for free. Because, if you don't want to pay the 60, 80 for the team, normally you would just simply not get the team. So they wouldn't get a sale. If they pick up the STL files, it's just an extra way to generate that capital to make the models work. And it means you're not being penalised if you don't have a printer. We've seen loads of these stuffs that's STL only, and then you have to track down and blackmail a brilliant friend, just like Ben, to print stuff out for you. But this way you get both. So if you don't know someone with a 3D printer and you want a Blood Bowl team, and you've got £60 to spend on a team that's about to go out on rotation, you can do it. And I'm very pleased to hear they've got extra positionals in the works, because if Zons don't appear via a PDF at large at the beginning, you're going to be using them as count as. So any other thoughts on the fight miniatures?
No, that's about it. I would say when it was printed, it was quite small, but then you put it seemed small, but again, I think that was due to the proportions. When you put it against other miniatures, they seem pretty standard size for humans. I even did one at like 110%, and it just seemed too big at that point. So, yeah.
Cool. So print it at 105%, and
Even that
you're
was
good.
about on the large side.
Really, that's interesting.
I think it does stand up. It's just you're just getting used to like the non-ridiculously muscly arms and stuff that miniatures tend to have.
The non-Games Workshopified effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's one to watch as well. Fight Games, 25th of September. Hopefully, we'll get a bit more information before that comes around, because there's some very good sculpts. Oh, here you go. I've actually got your post on the screen now, Ben.
There you go.
And we've got a picture of them side by side with an orc. Yeah, I think the scale is about right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's very, very cool. Next thing we've got is another thing that you spotted, actually. The MegaBowl human... Oh, what is it? What is this? This is the Patreon, isn't it?
Yes. So this is run by RNEstudio, who I think a lot of people might have heard of.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot of teams in the past, especially their MegaBowl range. And yeah, they've just started a Patreon, which began 1st of September. So yeah, it's their first month doing it. They're selling, or not selling, but allowing you to subscribe and have access to a human team, including the Ogre, all the positionals, and also their welcome pack, which contains 4-star players.
Oh, that is very cool.
Yeah, so I think it's like a King Tut. So you have the big Khemri guy.
Yep.
You've got a corn-looking fellow. I'm really not sure who he's meant to represent. He's holding a head. And you have a Carla, or a female player, who's pretty much
Gonna end up as Carla, yeah.
Yeah. And another, I can't remember the last one, honestly. But
So
yeah.
the human team, is it the guys that kind of look like sci-fi Bretonnians?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. They look like Deadpool from Mantic, but with a Bretonnian edge. That is a really nice team. Now, we've seen STL files and stuff from RNEstudio before, and the pricing was quite high. I think I got a couple of them, Ben, for you to do some prizes for MegaBowl and stuff.
Yes,
and the pricing was okay for a few miniatures, but for an entire team it was like 50 quid for the STLs. And we all know you can just go buy 2 Games Workshop teams for that. For £10 to get this team and then to be part of the Patreon, I mean, you're going to take 5 months worth of getting STL files. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous.
Assuming it's a team a month, this is going to be pretty good for anyone.
Even if it's, 4-star players a month, that's £2.50 an STL file. That's... Oh, man, I would pull that trigger if the... I mean, most of their sculpts are really good as well. There's a couple that are a bit gimpy, but that could be every miniature line. That's really good. Have you signed up to this?
Yeah, I snatched it up as soon as I saw it. Which maybe in hindsight I wasn't really very careful, because I did end up getting the extra month, which didn't actually have anything on it because I subscribed in August before it started. But he was very kind. He said, "You're #1 Patreon, so you can have a month of my other Patreon, which he's running with like fantasy models." Yeah, so that was really, really kind of him.
That's cool. So yeah, if you are if you do have a printer, this is definitely worth having a look at, because they are great Blood Bowl miniatures and you're supporting a really great creator. I love that you're the first Patreon. I love that. I think that's brilliant. I think that's great. Well done.
It was right in there. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I'm not letting this disappear.
Absolutely. I think I paid more for the star players that I picked up than a month of the Patreon. So
it's nuts,
that is really cool. That is really, really, really cool. I think for miniatures, that wraps it up. And one thing we really got to talk about, Ben, is the Blood Bowl 3 trailer, which I didn't even put that in the show notes. I kind of forgot about it. So that came and went. I'm sure all of you out there have seen the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, do go give it a watch. I'm going to go in with the good, bad, good sandwich straight off the bat.
Okay.
It's a Blood Bowl game. That's good. No, it looked really cool. It looked really cool. The interesting takeaway I got is that all of the stuff that's in the game looks exactly the same as the sculpts from the tabletop.
I really like that. personally.
I
I don't know how you feel.
I agree. I was kind of hoping that they'd land some underworld sculpts that look like the Blood Bowl 2 versions, but their drill arms and stuff. That team at some point would be really, really sweet. So yes, I don't know if they're just because it's like an early engine. The graphics didn't look that great. They didn't look particularly much better than Blood Bowl 2.
It didn't look like a game that's come out in 2021.
No. However, I love FUMBBL. So like as far as graphics like bars go, like I don't mind. Like things peaked with Dragon Warrior and everything else is just unnecessary. You can keep your colors and your polygons. I
think it looks good. I think I give them a lot of kudos for it was clearly rendered in game, the trailer. You can tell like the animations and stuff, which I really respect.
Is the first Games Workshop trailer game that I have ever seen. I mean, look at the Necromunda trailer. The trailer came out, and then for 3 months these trailers were landing that was clearly not gameplay, and we had no idea what the game was going to be like. This is Blood Bowl with Blood Bowl sprites based on the miniatures, like literally based on the miniatures. The halfling with the cooking pot, everything, which is really cool. I like that a lot. I'm with you on that one. Did you see the Verminator?
What was that? Creek
Rust Gouger. So in the game, there is clearly Creek Rust Gouger, and he is in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook. So there is a definite possibility that miniature is coming soon. Although I suppose we already thought that, didn't we?
Yeah. Although when you're saying they match the miniatures, I'm really hoping in this version of the game they have some more of the stars with models to represent them. Because currently we have like Helmut Wolf is just a goblin with a chainsaw. I'm wondering if they'll have Helmut with an actual chainsaw, because he's a very prevalent star now, isn't he?
He works for everybody. He's not picky at all anymore.
That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see the game. I know we were going to wait till next year. It'll be interesting to see if and how true it stays to what Blood Bowl 2020 is going to be, and whether it lands with rules live before the tabletop, or whether vice versa. Keeping it up to date with tabletop, if it's based on the new tabletop rules, which it looks like it's got the nobility in there and stuff. I don't know whether we're going to see spoilers, or whether it's going to be that brutal get the Spike magazine for tabletop and the DLC for Blood Bowl 3. Let's hope not. The other cool thing to mention is that it's looking like it's going to be cross-platform.
Yeah, that was revealed and then taken away.
It was, and then said that they're working on it. So we got really excited because we thought, hey, this is going to be on the Switch as well. Like that's really, 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 really great.
It's confirmed to be on Switch. But the cross-platformness hasn't been confirmed.
I think was it you saying something about the online game systems?
Yeah, Nintendo and Sony can be a little bit funny with their servers and how they do online. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. I do hope it's on Switch and it's cross-platform, because I would love it on Switch, but I think if I can't play it against PC, that might be a deal breaker of getting it on Switch.
Oh, most definitely. And the benefit is if the graphics are as true to the trailer as as it is, most people who are playing Blood Bowl 2 probably will be able to play Blood Bowl 3, which I think
would be good.
I think because the way Blood Bowl is, there's a lot of players who are not gamers. Like they're tabletop gamers who also game PC for Blood Bowl. I think that's why FUMBBL is so prevalent, and Blood Bowl 2 is so brilliant, because it's about 10 years old and everyone can run it. If they go max out, if they Warhammer Total War style stats for Blood Bowl 3, I just don't think it will do that well.
I kind of agree, actually, because that game is a beast to run.
Yeah.
And it's also extremely popular too, but I think it might just be because Total War's amazing.
Well, Total War is amazing, but not as amazing as Blood Bowl. But I do think there's a massive correlation between Blood Bowlers and Blood Bowl 3 players versus any other kind of online version. I mean, Dawn of War, you didn't remotely ever need to know what 40k was to play Dawn of War. It was just a cool RTS.
I didn't know what Warhammer was when I played Dawn of War.
Exactly. It got so many people into it. I think because of the way that Blood Bowl is, like the Blood Bowl video games are just the tabletop game, you gotta like board games You kind of like that board game, I think, element.
Yeah, because you are rolling dice.
It's
like
the same
it'll be
game.
weird to go in there thinking it's like Madden, and then
Yeah.
suddenly you're rolling dice to do everything.
Yeah, no, they tried that already. There was a blitz mode they did, but yeah, I just I think I just hope they don't overcook it, because I really cannot be bothered to upgrade my PC, and I'd be so excited to play Blood Bowl 3, but if it's going to cost several £100s to upgrade it, I'm literally just not going to bother, because I've got Blood Bowl 2, and it's sad, but what do you do? Like, I'm already paying hundreds of pounds to play the tabletop version.
It's also coming out for PS5 and the new Xbox, which I always forget the name of. One X, is it One X?
Oh, something rubbish like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's coming out. It's coming out for that as well. So I mean, they've got to be somewhat next gen.
Yeah,
if they want to release it on these newer consoles.
You're very, very, very right there. Well, anyway, it remains to be seen. But yes, have a look at the trailer. It's very cool to see, well, Blood Bowl 3 and Blood Bowl 2020 realised. And it just legitimately confirms the fact that we are in the next age of Blood Bowl.
Definitely.
Which sums it up. Cool, we've got a couple of tournaments to talk through here. The first is a very, very, very special one that's being run by Morpheus, Sean Hennessy. I mean, Morpheus, I think we've played some games against him on our streams. Great coach from America, really lovely guy, lovely family too. And he is running with Hef, I think. Yeah, with Hef in the UK. A tournament on FUMBBL to raise money for Mia. So let me just quickly read the charity tournament. His little brief here. Charity tournament for what? A while back, there was a huge fundraiser for a little 6-year-old girl named Mia. You guys in the Blood Bowl community, you will probably know of this or have heard of this. Her father passed away quite unexpectedly, leaving Mum and Mia alone. Now, this really touched home for me, Sean, as he has 2 older kids, 29 and 28, and has a 10-year-old daughter who is his world. Not to pull on heartstrings or anything, but he just turned 50 this year. His older kids have had 28 plus more years with him than that little one will ever get. He spent as much time with her as he can, making every minute count. Tomorrow is never a guarantee. He could not even begin to imagine the pain that his wife and daughter would be without him around. He can only imagine the pain and sorrow that Mia and her mother feel every day with that emptiness. So he is running this charity tournament where all the proceeds will be given to the little girl to use for school, an outing, whatever she wants to use it for. A child that young shouldn't ever have to go through what she's going through. Let's all pull together as a community, roll some digital dice and play some games for Mia. So it's a brilliant, it's just such a lovely sentiment. And from knowing Sean, his kids are his world, and it's lovely to see. In fact, I got to talk to his daughter a few times on when we were playing games, actually, which is cool. So it's a FUMBBL tournament. It is 4 rounds, and it's a game a week for 4 weeks. It starts on September the 14th, Monday the 14th, and sign-ups are between now and September the 13th. £10 per ticket on PayPal. There is loot and there is raffle as well, where people are submitting stuff. We're going to get some loot and stuff together for Sean and Hef to give away. But yes, if you're a FUMBBL player, sign up, because it is a great cause. However, that's all the good feely, like real, actually nice real world stuff. There's another reason to be very excited for it. It is called Ogre Hio. And the reason it's called the Ogre Hio Cup is because Ogre teams are massively, like boosted. I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. My words are just utterly failing. Anyway,
that's okay.
Ogre's good, other teams bad. So here's the skill packages. All non-Ogre teams, 4 normal skills and 2 doubles, and all Ogre teams, 4 normals, 4 doubles. And non-Ogre teams have to take an apothecary and a keg because they are scared of playing Ogres. So essentially, Ogre rosters are 1250. Everybody else is 1150 because they've got to take that apothecary and keg. And there are stunty teams, stunty league, sorry. There are secret teams. There's a stunty cup. It's just a really cool event. Link is in the show notes if you're up for a FUMBBL challenge. Now Summer Sorcery has finished. I need to do a little video wrap up of that when I get a chance. Support a great thing. There's trophies from Hungry Troll. There's the raffle. He's got some dice getting made for everybody as well. This is a great little event, and if you're after something to play for FUMBBL for September into October, then give it a click, and sign up. That is the Ohio, or the Ogre Cup. You know, he's done a great job of breaking down the tournament, but doesn't have the name. So let me just see. Have a look. Yeah, no, hasn't got the name of it. Pretty sure it's called the Ogre Cup. Sorry if it isn't, but the link is in there. And yeah, if you're after a FUMBBL tournament with a great bunch of guys for a great cause, this is your Huckleberry. And the next one is MegaBowl. So we talk about this every single time we get a chance, because it's now just under 2 months to go. Tickets are live. The roster is live. The most up-to-date rule set is live on the Bonehead Podcast website. We've got a Snotling update that I popped up yesterday, saying the team sheet's live. Disposable does not work in a tournament. Sorry about that, everybody. Believe me, if I could make it work in a tournament, I would. But there isn't an inducement phase, so you don't get it at the moment, and the tickets are on sale. It's a really interesting format. It's more of a game day than a tournament, although there will be many, many winners and many, many prize winners. 2 games of 11s and 2 games of 7s with 1 team list. And the team list could be mixed regular teams. It could be some of the teams from Stunty and Secretly with a horror theme. Or you can just take a very bog standard team. It doesn't matter at all. There's something like 400 and something different teams to choose from. We finally get to play tabletop. We finally get to play a tournament, and we're just going to go all out, get it all in there. Crazy teams, mixed formats, prizes. There is a cap at 30 people for social distancing reasons. We're hoping that October, everything will be better and back to normal, and we can up it. I don't know. We may actually get a second wave. We'll find out in about a month's time. But it is Saturday, October 31st. Tickets are on sale, and we've had a bunch of people buy one already, which is really cool. So I think this is going to be an absolutely brilliant day. And Ben, I know you dropped yourself in it live on air last episode.
Yes, yeah. Hot news, breaking news. Yeah.
Breaking news to the girlfriend as well.
Yeah, she was shocked to see us.
So,
which is cancelled? Oh, Blood Bowl it is.
Which team's she bringing?
I've tried.
I had to take Tiff to Tenerife.
She thinks they're quite fun.
They are
I don't
fun.
Think she likes them enough to play Blood Bowl.
I had to take Tiff to Tenerife to get her to play 7s. Although I do think Blood Bowl 2020 will be easier because there is less maths. The target numbers make it a bit simpler. I do like that, and I need to try Blitz Bowl with her as well. She's very sweet. She does bring it up every now and again. She's like, "Do you want to play a game of Blood Bowl?" I'm like,
you need to take that.
You didn't enjoy it last time. Like, what's going on? We can't do a holiday right now. We've got a wedding.
Yeah,
maybe
a tournament's not the place to learn. But,
actually, every one of our tournaments, we've had several people who haven't played Blood Bowl for a while, or it's their first tournament, and they've loved it because our coaches are brilliant. I mean, it was your first tournament experience was one of ours.
Actually, yeah, you say that. I think that might have been like my 5th game.
Yeah, exactly. It is a great place. And because all the teams are generally quite stupid, and because it's a Swiss pairing system, so if we do get a bunch of try-hard elf players, they'll all be playing against each other while you're just all scrumming down at the bottom with mixed stunty teams from Carnage and everything. I think, hot take, I feel like somebody, Ben, you may be able to guess who, but don't on air, is talking about a mixed Snotling and Ogre team.
Yeah, we know who we're talking about.
Oh yeah, we all know who that is. Oh yeah, and I am very excited for that. But also, that's a really cool roster idea.
I know, right? Yeah, you can have like Snotlings and Noblars.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like ogres, pump wagons. You got swarming there, so you actually get extra guys on. You can throw them, you can kick them. It's like
I actually think it might be quite good.
Well, yeah, as good as Stunty gets. Anyway, that's MegaBowl coming up at the very end of October, and linked into MegaBowl, we've got our short story competition, which is still open until the end of September. Recommended word count 3,000 words. It's all about Blood Bowl if you can, and we're going to do some audio recordings of some of our favourites. We've got an actual author as well doing the judging, Andy Hall. So it's really cool. Get involved, and that means at the end of this month, beginning of next month, you're going to start hearing some really cool Blood Bowl stories as well. I think we've got nearly 10 stories submitted now, Ben.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And a whole bunch of other people that are brewing them up. And there's still 4 weeks to go. So it's just really exciting. It's really exciting. I think now, is that everything for news? Have we covered everything?
I think so. Yeah.
We have. Okay,
Big
cool.
news segment.
Yeah, which is nice actually. There's just one more thing to mention is if you are interested in Blood Bowl 2020 team builds, check out our YouTube page. Every single day we've got some rosters for a team going up. Today is the 1st of September, Tuesday, and the Wood Elf one went live today. And what we're doing is we're looking at what lists look good to start a TV 1000 or a million build league. So we're going to try and cover all the teams as quickly as we can, so that when you guys start playing with 2020 rules, you've at least had a chance to listen to our crazy thoughts about what the best rosters are going to be. So give that a check on YouTube. Let's move on to hobby. And it's hobby time. Ben, I believe you got some Blood Bowl this month.
Yeah, been doing some more FUMBBL fun.
Oh yeah, okay. You got some games in. So how's?
Oh yeah, let's jump straight into games. Whoops.
Yeah, no, go straight for games. Go straight for games. You got to play some FUMBBL games. What did you get in?
Yeah, so I played a few games in Summer Sorcery with my Nurgling team, which is a very, very not good team.
Yeah, this is the bad Nurgling team. There's two, isn't there? This is the one from the Stunty League?
Yeah, the Stunty League Nurglings. Yeah,
that's just rubbish. The one from the Secret League is the crazy one with all the guard.
The Demons of Nurgle team.
Wrecked your mind at Tombstone last year.
No, I had a lot of fun with them. Played a few games. I did actually win one against Beastmen.
You won. Yeah. It was a proper upset win, and it was so exciting to catch like the play-by-plays in the group chat about that. It was so cool.
Yeah, purely down to the weather table, but that
sweltering heat wiped him out, didn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for games. So, did you play any games?
Well, yes, actually, I got my first game of Blood Bowl 2020 in. I can't remember if we talked about it on the last podcast or not. Oh, yeah, we did. The entire podcast was about it. Anyway, Matt, see, we haven't recorded for a few weeks, and it just feels like forever. So, as for Blood Bowl, I got that game of 2020 in, but no other games for me. But I have been doing hobby like an absolute monster. Because the Snotlings arrived.
Yes.
And I know you've got your Snotlings as well, but this team is just so much fun. I don't want to, it's just so good. Like the miniatures have got so much character. They are all 2 parts except for the pump wagon. So should we talk about the pump wagon now, Ben? Because that's hobby.
Yeah. We've seen this come up quite a lot on social media. We discussed it when we had our teams. Ben was like, he warned me. He was like, when you get the pump wagon, just you did your unboxing video, and you were like, well, that was an experience.
Oh wow, yeah. So I did an unboxing video for the Snotlings, and when I do the builds, because Ian Triplow likes to take the mic because I did a time lapse of a build for something. I think it was the Minotaur or something. I'm not sure. So I just stuck with it. And now every time I do an unboxing, I've got to do a time-lapse fast video. So I was like, the pump wagon would be a great idea for this. And let me tell you, trying to build it with a camera between your face and the miniature. When you've got planks of wood that come in 2 parts for your ease. It was an interesting experience. However, it's a fine miniature. I built one properly, which is it's a very confusing miniature. I don't understand the rock. And then I converted another one, so it's more of a flatbed, so I can have somebody on the front pointing away and tooting his horn, just chucking Snotlings on. It's just a ridiculous model. It doesn't make any sense for it to be in Blood Bowl, and yet it's just so much fun. It's got like 30 pieces. There's more pieces here than I think I have. Any model this size really has any right to be. It's smaller than a Sherman from Flames of War, and the Shermans come in like 4 parts. So, but we're starting to see loads of cool conversions in the community. Have you built both of yours? Have you built any of yours?
I've built one. The other one's still on sprue, just because I don't really want to build it, and also because I don't think I'll have it in the roster. So until I come up with a convincing enough conversion, I might get that. There was that Patreon we talked about last time. The 3D printed wagon. I might try and like bash them together and make some kind of Uber wagon or something.
I mean, that Patreon was kind of good timing and kind of not good timing, because it landed so close to the actual Snotling release that it was just enough time to go, wow, this is really cool. I'll print that off on Tuesday. No, I've already got the team now. I don't need to print it off. But
that's exactly what happened.
Hey, exactly. We're like, Ben, quickly print these things. When are we going to see you? About a week after we've actually already had the Snotlings out. Just built them. I just wish the pump wagon, I wish you could take more than 2, but had a reason to. Might be cool to run them as ogres.
That would be pretty cool, actually. A pump wagon team.
That would be quite cool.
There you go.
Oh, man. I've got to build more pump wagons now.
There's a Snotling Ogre mixed team. Just replace the ogres with pump wagons.
All the pump wagons. Yeah. And the catapults would make sense then, because they would have throw teammate.
Yes.
Did we just fix pump wagons, Ben?
They should definitely have throw. Yeah. At least kick teammate,
Well, yes, for Blood Bowl 2016. I'm so glad they fixed that for 2020. Where kick teammate is essentially throw teammate, but your guys die on a specific role. Can't remember what it is, but I like it. I like that a lot. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. So you've been painting Snotlings and videoing you painting Snotlings.
Yes. The video should be out by now, because as I'm recording, I'm finishing up at the editing. It's the first time we've done a painting video. We love the early edit version. It's got like a chill Duncan vibe. I really like it, Ben. I would love to see more. Hopefully we can do more. It's a lot of sort of work that goes into it, and obviously with full-time work, I can't promise how often they come out, but when we can, we'll bring those out.
That is wicked. So other than Snotlings and things, have you been getting any hobby on the go? Been printing anything, painting anything?
I started printing the Kraken Fantasy Stadium.
Is this the one Rob set fire to?
Yes, it's the one that's the one. The one he blew off the Empire State Building or something.
Oh yeah. So friend of the podcast, Rob from North Wales Cartage Cup, has been doing a great little series of videos on YouTube of printing out a 3D tile for Blood Bowl from the Kraken's Kickstarter, and then subjecting it to different things. It started off because he was like, push it off a table and see if it shatters. People actually want to know that. And it escalated very quickly to blowtorches. I mean,
all those scenarios where your blowtorch is a bit too close to your Blood Bowl pitch. Yeah.
If you print me a tile, Ben, I will do a video using my longbow, and we'll see longbow versus Blood Bowl tile.
I've got a tile next to me. That's a test. There you go.
I'll swing by on the way home from work tomorrow. Grab it up. Get my bodkins out. That'll be wicked. So good. So I'm glad you got some printing on the go. Sounds like you're going to have some RNEstudio stuff soon to print.
Yes. Yeah. Although I might have to prioritize my MegaBowl team. I haven't decided what I'm going to take.
Oh, I love that you can just print your own MegaBowl team.
I don't know. I might use an existing one. I had the old Zinch Silver Tower team, which was designed for this. So,
the thought of... So, the cool thing about MegaBowl Tournament is you've got a bunch of horror-themed teams. You can take mixed teams so you can do something special. But I was driving home today and I was like, I might run a Bretonnian team. Or, I might run a Bretonnian team or a Slan team. Or a team that I think very soon you won't be able to play in tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I was genuinely considering that on the way home. I was like, is this my last chance to play Slan?
Give them the last hurrah.
Yeah, before they just get squatted. Actually, amusingly, they get slammed. Because I think Slan's got squatted before squats did.
I think so, yeah.
Well, they all got zoted. But zotes came back, Ben. I'm saying it. Calling it. I've been wrong about every other Blood Bowl prediction. So at some point, one crazy prediction is going to come right.
We need to ask Rich. He's usually the one for this.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. But then no one guessed Black Orcs and human nobilities.
Very true.
Yeah. I mean, what teams? So you're thinking you're still the Chaos Pact then?
Yeah, the Pact. But obviously, I can do a mixed team version with Chaos and add in these angles to be Beastmen. So, yeah. I don't know. It's or more for flavour that. But then the thing is that was for Bonehead Bowl where it was just mixed teams. Now I can have secret teams, and that's even more exciting.
Oh, there's quite a few. There's quite a few secret teams as well that are eligible.
Yeah, I was considering maybe like Ogre Kingdoms or one of the pirate teams or something. I'm not sure.
Not all of those are allowed because this is horror themed teams.
Is it just the horror secret?
Yeah, we got Beastmen, we got Khorne, we got Slaanesh, Tzeentch, Demons of Slaanesh, Clan Pestilence, Demons of Khorne, Demons of Nurgle, Demons of Tzeentch, Chaos Halflings, woohoo! Horrors of Tzeentch, Nurglings, your favourite team. Stragoyan, Ethereal, Marak, Numas, Karsabar, Liberus, Rosetra, Zandri. Those are all the kind of Khemri teams. We've got Blood Dragons, Larmians, Necrarchs, Strigoi, Von Karstein. So fancy, vampire teams. And the Golem team, the Were team, and Undead Pirates are all the special teams that are out there. Plus, the mismatch of mixed teams you can build out of your standard ones. I'm really tempted by the Golem team, but
yeah,
I need to get some giant hands. Oh, there's just so many cool teams, and I'm just so stressed about the fact that things are. I don't know where these teams are going to go, Ben. I don't know I don't know if we're going to see them in the future.
We'll update them. If no one else does, we'll update them.
I just really hope that FUMBBL keeps this lot alive. I'd really please FUMBBL out there, Krista, make this happen. Just give them all a passing stat. Just give them exactly the same passing stat as agility and call it quits. Although if you did that, they'd all get a massive power boost against regular teams, wouldn't they? Which might not be what they're after. Anyway, hobby-wise, we're all painting Snotlings. We're all brewing teams for MegaBowl. We got 8 weeks. Like that's loads of weeks. How many Fridays?
That does quickly turn into 2 weeks
1,
and then
2,
1
3,
week.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Fridays. Easy. 9 Fridays before I need to worry about which team to paint. Yeah, that'll be cool. Right, that's it for hobby. Let's move on to Snotlings. So I know we've mentioned it 45 billion times, although I haven't mentioned that other thing I normally mention. So I haven't lost the game yet. So we're going to look at the spike, the most recent spike. We are going to ignore the fact that it goes out of date just for a little bit. So just play along. So this is for the Blood Bowl 16 edition, and we're going to look at some of the core pages of the Spike magazine so we can talk through the rules of the team itself. So starting, these guys have disposable, which works the same way as Ogres, which is that their TV does not count just for the ordinary Snotlings themselves. So you buy your linemen and their value goes away when you are playing in League. But the really cool rule they have, and well, we saw this on a leak ages ago and everyone was immediately like, what does it do? Does it do this? Does it do this? We've got Swarming, which is an extraordinary skill that Snotlings have. Snotlings are incredibly small, plentiful, and very hard to tell apart. Even their own mothers would no doubt give up and give them all a single name. Match officials frequently struggle to keep an exact count of how many are pouring onto the pitch between drives and find themselves forever ejecting Snotlings who have no right to be on the pitch at all. At the start of each drive after setting up, but before the kickoff, you may choose to remove an extra D3 players with this extraordinary skill, Swarming, from your reserves box and set them up on the pitch. Even if this takes the number of players on the pitch above 11, these players may not be placed on the line of scrimmage or in a wide zone. So, when you've got Snotlings, when you've got players with Swarming, you roll a D3, and this is once you've set up, but before the kickoff, you just get to put 3 extra Snotlings on the pitch, not on the line, and not in the wide zone. So
how cool is that?
Well, I think it's such it's a really clever skill, and I think it really fills a hole for these tiny strength 1 players, especially in 2016. So you're adding D3, so it's realistically it's a couple of extra Snotlings each setup if you've got enough. Now, Ben, have you played much against or with Ogre teams?
Honestly, no. No, I very rarely played against them.
Ben started
Yeah, I played it.
straight in with Stunty himself.
Yeah, I think I've played maybe 2 or 3 games against ogres.
Ogres, one of the vulnerability of ogres is that they can only have so many Snotlings and they die. So once you end up with 4 ogres and 3 or 4 Snotlings, they really suffer from a positional spread. So when you start removing those tiny players, the pitch presence really diminishes, because you chuck a couple of linemen over on the ogres and the rest of your team can just do stuff. With the swarming ability allowing Snotling teams to start with 12, 13, 14 players on the pitch, yes, they melt when you look at them funny, but there is more of them, which is going to be useful for fouling, obviously, which is what we thought swarming was going to be for immediately, but it's also going to be really useful for assists. Because if you've got more players than the other person, assists are going to be really difficult. There's more tackle zones. So, I don't know. I mean, how big an effect do you think swarming is going to have?
I think it's going to be pretty big. I really do. I think it's also a square. I mean, you have the new jump now, but a square that's occupied is a square you can't run through. And so if you can really just bog up the pitch to just not let them even kind of break through some places.
Now, jump doesn't come into effect until Blood Bowl 2020, but
True,
the swarming rule, I think, stays the same. You're exactly right. So this is going to be even more important, because one of the best tactics with Snotlings, or at least with Noblars Snotlings are kind of the same now, is being able to sidestep. So you can position your corpse in a way as to block movement and just really get in the way. That sidestep and being able to put yourself down. Okay, you've got armor of 5, so there's a high likelihood they're going to break it, which means they're going to have a chance to remove you. But that chance is still what is it for stunties for a knockout? It's 7+, isn't it? So it's only a 56% chance of removal there. So they've got to break the armor, and then 40% of the time, the guy's going to stay on the pitch. So having even more bodies, whether they're standing or on the ground, is going to gum up the pitch. I think it's a clever rule. Now, I guess on the downside is, do you think it's going to add much in the way of play time?
I mean, it will. I think it will. You're going to have to move more players, but I don't think it's going to be that bad, because it's not like you're getting more actions. You're not going to be making any blocks with them, so...
That is true. You're not going to get any more blitzes, anything like that. It just gives you the ability to have more ammunition on the pitch for your trolls to throw. And if you are running a mixed team, the Ogre Snotling build looks really promising, because throw teammate, kick teammate with 2 or 3 extra people on the pitch for you to throw and kick. It's an extra turn of ammunition. I like it. I think that's very useful. They also have the sneaky gits rule. Like their larger goblin kin, the sneakiness of Snotlings is legendary. Their dirty little fingers get into everything that their larger cousins busy themselves with. They tend to believe they improve the running of any unscrupulous scheme they come into contact with, but in truth cause nothing so much as bother. Like goblins, Snotling teams can purchase bribe inducements for half price, paying 50,000 rather than the usual 100,000 gold pieces. Ben, why do you think this is important?
Well, they got a bunch of secret weapons as well, don't they? I mean, although, no, you're going to be using to keep weapons on, but it does feel a bit weird when the weapons are really cheap. Like, the bribes are still twice as much as some of the weapons, right? So
you are exactly right. So you've got 2 secret weapons, on the Snotling team. You've got the Pump Wagon, which is 110k in Blood Bowl 2016. And 105 in 2020, and then you've got the Flinger, which is 30k in both. A bribe is 50. You can take up to 2 each of your secret weapons. Now, you've already mentioned that you think you're going to be running just the one Pump Wagon.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's going to get exclusive bribe use. I think, like I saw real today, someone said online that the Pump Wagon is going to become the new Blitzer, or actually a pretty good Blitzer, because they don't have Loner, so you can at least reroll for them with Juggernaut and Mighty Blow. So having the one on the pitch to do that blitz every time, let your trolls just be annoying and throw teammate and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be useful to keep on the pitch as long as you can.
Yeah, I agree. So I actually have some experience with pump wagons. Not these style of pump wagons, but I got to run the secret team. The Stunt TV team? Secret. One of them. Anyway, pump wagons were secret weapons, and you could take up to 3. And the times I deployed 2 or 3 were a terrible decision. Now, bribes being half price is going to help, and, you know, it's the second half. It's probably the last drive. You chuck them all on, no worries at all. But you got to manage this. And, well, Ben, you'll have the edge here because you've got your goblin experience. And managing bribes and secret weapons is a really huge part of the game. And when you're paying 110k for a secret weapon, I mean, it's no death roller, but it's a mini death roller. You've got to be choosy. And yeah, if you can take 1 pump wagon and 2 bribes for the price of 2 pump wagons, you're getting 3 pump wagons in theory, aren't you? 3 pump wagon deployments.
Yeah.
With the 2 bribes. It's going to be really interesting, and we're going to come to in the second part of the show. We're going to come to some rosters and some whys about the rosters, and that will definitely play a part. But anyway, half price bribes. And we've got the players themselves. So we will talk through the positionals as we go. So we have got Snotlings, which are 0 to 16. They're 20,000 each. Movement 5, Strength 1, Agility 3, Armor 5. Skills, Disposable, Dodge, Right Stuff, Sidestep, Stunty, Swarming, and Titchy. So we've covered Disposable and Swarming. These guys are Noblars / Slotlings of old. They've got Sidestep, they're Stunty, they're Titchy. They dodge everywhere forever on a 2+. Which is amazing. I've run a team, all of these guys. And they can do horrible things. I know Rich Saxby's done exactly the same thing. Just a whole bunch of Noblars. And, you know, they are far better than you think.
They're actually also really hard to remove. Like, yeah, they're strength 1. You're usually 3 dying block every day. But if you don't get that power, they're not going anywhere.
They are not. Now, if you roll up against some tackle, then it becomes some real SPP farming. Like, seriously. But, you know, you're not always going to get that opportunity. My green screen's gone all funny again. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've got a new lighting setup, so it looks a bit squiffy on the YouTube channel. So, yeah, Snotlings are very useful players. They are not bad ball handlers with Ag 3. And they've got Stunty, so it means they're passing with a -1, so they're passing a quick pass on a 4+ rather than a 3+. But, yeah, honestly, these guys, you can build a cage of Snotlings and it might be okay. So it very well might be okay, because like Ben says, even if they knock the side of the cage off and take a blitz at your guy, even with 2 or 3 dice, they still need to roll that power, or it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. And you can sidestep to protect them. So
yeah, sidestep is a hugely useful skill, whether you are just choosing where to die or just trying to evade. And it's free movement. I've had my ball carrier Snotling just blocked and then blocked and blocked, and all it's done is just give me free squares to move closer to the end zone.
Yeah,
which is something to really consider. That sidestep.
I think the existence of Black Orcs is going to be quite hard for this team, I think.
Oh, because of grab.
Yeah, you got 6 grab guys who are going to just be rinsing these.
Counters the sidestep. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, keep them away from dwarves as well. Just keep them away from dwarves. Tackle will destroy them. And unlike the Ogre team, this team does not have all the continuous strength, although we'll get to that in a minute. So this, I think, is one of my favourite additions to Blood Bowl now, is the Fungus Flingers. So they get 0 to 2 Fungus Flingers, 5135. They are 30k each. Bombardier, Dodge, Right Stuff, Secret Weapon, Sidestep, and Stunty with Agility and Passing on normal. So if these guys survive long enough to get a level up, you can give them Hail Mary Pass straight away.
It's amazing. That is just pure value.
Pure value. It is actually pure value. If you can get them to survive. So this Spike magazine is for 2016. So in 2016, you've got to get 6 SPP. Your MVP is 5. So these guys pull off one anything, one catch, one completion, you know, or they get a touchdown. Chuck them on in the D3 for the MVP. Get them that Hail Mary pass for the Bombardier. And I think it's really just going to upset your opponent, because you've got this little tiny dude who's on the back. You could literally just apply him at the back of your field. You've got swarming, so you're still going to have 11 other players at least and just you get one free bomb anywhere every single turn while they're on the pitch. So
Yeah.
I know you said that the bribe is going to be used exclusively for the pump wagon, but if you get a Hail Mary pass fungus flicker, I can see you using a bribe to just keep him on, just to pile on the pressure.
I think as soon as it becomes Hail Mary, and we had this discussion as well, talking about team rosters, which you might touch on in a bit, but about having 2 of them is quite good compared to like goblins, say, because you can include 2 of them in your starting roster. MVP it's just basically twice as more likely to get a flinger with MVP.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you can actually throw 2 bombs per turn in 2016. In the current edition, you can bomb twice a turn. And for 60k, I mean, it is not optimal and it's not good team management, but it's pretty funny. Just bomb. I think you know the scene from The Dark Knight where Michael Caine just says, "Some men want to watch the world burn." This is that team. Like, just take the worst players in Blood Bowl and give them rockets.
I think 2 bombs is pretty good.
I like it. This is going to be an absolute sleeper team. So those are the fungus flingers. You get 2 of them, if you can afford 2. So again, we'll come to that in roster building. You've got 2 fun hoppers as well, 0 to 2, 20,000, 6, 135. So 1 extra movement. And these guys are standard stuff. They've got dodge, right stuff, sidestep, stunty. So no titchy, which makes sense because they're bouncing around on a cloud squig. It's like I guess it's kind of like a fungal squig.
I think it's just like a ball of spores. I think it's just like a sentient spore. That's what I interpreted it as, anyway. That
makes sense. But they've got Pogo Stick, which grants the leap and very long legs ability. So these guys are movement 6 and they're leaping around on a 3+.
Mm-hmm.
So they are Pogoers. You get 2 of them. They're 20k each. So as far as
you wouldn't take them. You would not take them.
If you can get them in your build, then you might as well. And just the extra movement for no extra money immediately, even if you do not Pogo Stick. All right, they don't have titchy, so they're only dodging around on a 3+. But they're still movement 6, and they can take that cheeky 3+ leap to get out of the way in no time at all. And you know, their normal is agility, so sprint. This is a movement 9 guy that leaps. This could be remarkably agile with a single level up, but I think they're going to be really useful as it is.
Yeah, they're going to get everywhere, and like we were saying earlier, this team is just going to be a nuisance. You're going to use this team to just clog up your opponent and be a menace. And
it is
these guys let you do that.
These guys have trolls. Now, the cool thing about the roster is they've got the hoppers, so you get your leap bits, but you also have 0 to 2 stilty runners, 20k, movement 6 again, 135, dodge, right stuff, sidestep, sprint, stunty. So again, no titchy, but these ones start with sprint. So you've immediately got the potential for 9 squares with a stilty. So you put that gives you 4 players that can move pretty well.
Yeah, you go build your own gutter runner here.
It's basically the same thing. They're even stronger.
Yeah, he's like 4 or 5 level ups. And you...
Well, they're 20k. They're 20k. Like, this is a player that can score you some touchdowns. I am expecting to see stilties and hoppers become really interesting key players. I cannot wait for our first famous Snotling player. And I think we should just dive into this immediately, Ben. Historically, when goblins or when noblars get a level up, unless it's a special level up, you get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these positionals, in fact, all 3 positionals for this team that we've seen so far, with a single level up, they get good.
Yeah.
So,
you wouldn't want to get rid of these guys.
The stilty gets sure feet. Now he's reliably 9 squares of movement. The bombardier gets Hail Mary pass. Now he's reliable. Well, you know, it's 2+ carnage. Like for 50k on your TV, you might as well, because it's just fun as heck. And the hopper is less reliable because leap, even on a 3+, there's no integral reroll for it. So, but then again, if you're going to take leap, it gives you the opportunity again with agility to take that sprint or sure feet or something, just a jump up because you're leaping around. They get interesting with a single normal level up. That's before you roll a sweet double with these guys and take something else. I mean, just imagine one of these with like no nerves of steel or something. And now I'm just going to pass it to you, and you are just gone. I can see the Snotlings having a reasonable running game, and now I'm going to take these to MegaBowl. Yep, that's it. My team's decided. Yeah, this is too much fun.
Goodbye, Zeech.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Zeech team. I've spent money and love on. I think it's going to have to be Snotlings.
I'm looking forward to getting games in with them. I do think these, both the Stilty and the Fun Hopper, are going to be like you say, just genuinely quite good players.
It's almost a shame that this team has got such cool models in the pump wagons, because the pump wagons become the focal part, but actually those 3 positionals are so good. They're so good. They're just like, it's like going to McDonald's and just forgetting how great the fries can be. Do you know? Every now and again, you get a really well cooked bunch of fries. They've actually put salt on, and it's just like, man, these chips are really good. You know, but you go there for the Big Mac. And this is the Big Mac. So we've got 0 to 2 pump wagons, 110k, movement 4, strength 5, agility 1, armor 9. That's Ben's favourite stat line in Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that is a troll.
That is
and
a
therefore,
troll.
This player is perfect, right?
Well, possibly, but it gets a little bit better as well. So, comes with Dirty Player and Juggernaut, and Mighty Blow, Really Stupid, Secret Weapon, and Stand Firm. So it's a troll that can't throw things, but it's got Jugs, Stand Firm, and Dirty Player is really there more for fluff. Although, because this is a secret weapon, like, you wouldn't normally foul with the big guy because you don't want your big guy to be gone. But if it's coming towards the end of a drive and you know that your pump wagon's going to get sent off anyway, you might as well foul because you get Dirty Player, so you get +1, and you're going to have the numbers advantage. So although, you know, we talked about using the pump wagon as a blitzer, it's going to make a reasonably successful fouler too for free, because it's going to get sent off.
Like you say, that's why it's going to be worth having those 2, maybe 3 bribes in your inducements, because if you can get an extra foul off, like you have been able to knock over their key player and you need him gone, then the pump wagon's going to do a pretty good job of it.
I would happily have a pump wagon give a go with a Dirty Player foul on a War Dancer or something like that. You know, the EV is there, first of all, in TV like point of view, but I don't know. I'd rather they had a crippled War Dancer and my pump wagon got sent off 2 turns early. Like, that's fine. Always. I've got a bribe. Just bring it back on. Go for it. +1 for the Dirty Player. I've got 17 Snotlings on the pitch somehow because no one was paying attention. Skills and things. These guys come with strength on a normal. So Steve Cross did a great part of the tactics and the team development here. Did a really good job. And although guard is on there for pump wagons, which he said was not necessarily how it should have been. Pump wagons are tricky for level ups, Ben, because on strength, what do you take?
I don't know. Break tackle?
Yes. In 2016, break tackle would be really, really good for a pump wagon, especially if you're going to be blitzing with it with jugs. So yeah, break tackle, great point. Great shout.
Tentative, because in 2020 I would be less inclined to take.
2020, these guys have got Edge 5+, which means they're going to be dodging out on a 3+, the same as a Croxagore. So,
3+ dodge. That works every time.
Tell that to every Edge 3 sure hands player ever. 3+ is definitely not certain. I'm just going to have a quick look at the strength skills, because normally when you get a big guy, guard is really never a bad shout, is it? Because your big guys are going to be in there for the brawl. These guys don't need strong arm. Break tackle is good, grab, nah. Nah, I'm not seeing grab for this. Although, being able to... I don't know if you can take grab and jogs. You can, I think. I was just thinking.
I think there's a situation where they collide.
Juggernaut got that mighty blow. Got mighty blow. Multiple block.
Yeah.
Oh, that's risky. Piling on, definitely not. Stand firm, got it already. Strong arm, no such luck. So yeah, I think break tackle is probably the only skill you can give them. However, on doubles, you've got so much you can do. Ben, you roll a double on your pump wagon. What do you do?
Well, oh no, you take this one. I'm going to give an answer to that. Embarrassing.
Frenzy!
Okay.
Go straight in there with Frenzy. A frenzied pump wagon. 2 blocks. just so much fun. I mean, block is probably the right thing to do. And then, dodge if you give it a break tackle, maybe. But Frenzy!
I don't think block is the right thing to do because you have jugs. I
Yeah.
think you're right with Frenzy.
I will take that. I just wish they came with claws or something. Anyway, pump wagons. Let's just be honest here. What do you think to the pump wagon positional?
I think it's a real missed opportunity. I think they look great. I think they should be encouraged to be on the pitch, but sort of everything about them discourages you from bringing them. It could be worse. They could have Loner. If they had Loner, it would be like no way. I think they should either not be a secret weapon or be cheaper. That's just my thought.
I would be very happy with that. If these guys were 70k, you'd just be over the moon. Or like you said, if they didn't have secret weapon, I would also be very happy if they had ball and chain instead.
Yeah,
I think these guys as ball and chains, which is how they are in the secret league, or at least in the stunty league. It makes so much sense. They're just driving. They're just absolutely smashing through stuff in a vaguely linear direction. I just think they would have had an opportunity there to make an utterly unique player. This is, for all intents and purposes, a troll driving a death roller, which is going to be...
It's a fouling troll.
That's the roller, man. Really stupid, will hurt it, but the good thing about this team is you kind of do have spare players kicking around. So I'm expecting the trolls. You can also take 0-2 trolls. We've talked about trolls forever. You should be able to reliably activate these guys. That said, if you're running 2 pumps and 2 trolls on the pitch at the same time, really stupid players can't actually help activate other really stupid players. So
no, they can't. I found that out on my troll team.
Oh yeah. That'll do it. At least you had Ripper.
Yeah, he helps. Yeah. And so are these guys for about 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. So you can also take 0-2 trolls, 110k, 4-5-1-9, always hungry, loner, mighty blow, really stupid, regeneration, throw teammate. So you might as well attempt to throw teammate with a troll every now and again. Because with the Snotlings and with some of the faster players, so with the Stilties and the Stilties, they've got right stuff. Yeah, it's questionable, but yeah. And with the Hopper, throw teammate with those guys. The fact they can move, 8-9 reliable squares. Throw teammate's going to be pretty effective, and if they die, they're only 20k. So I think there's going to be a lot of throw teammate going on with the trolls here.
Yeah, I think if you're not throwing a teammate every turn, you're doing it wrong.
Quite possibly. So there is a little tactics bit and a little bit about team development. And we've got here the troll, guard, grab, stand firm, pump wagon, guard, grab, break tackle, thick skull. I would go break tackle there. Stilty runners, sure feet, catch. Fun hoppers, catch, sprint, sure feet. Fungus flingers, Hail Mary pass, leader. That's interesting. They can take leader. You ask yourself if you could, not whether you should. The Snotlings themselves. So I didn't actually talk about the development of Snotlings. Diving, tackle, catch, sure feet, sprint, diving, catch for these guys. What would you give a Snotling as a level up in 2016, Ben?
Probably nothing. Fire and rehire.
The cool thing about the way 2016 works at the moment is you've still got that sweet opportunity at a double to give him sure hands, or my personal favourite, Dauntless on a Snotling, but it's a very bad idea, but it is fun. And then guard is actually amazing as well.
Yeah, I think guard on a double, absolutely. Try and get that nurgling goodness.
And just guard spam everywhere. Oh man, we're just building my MegaBowl list live on air. This is great.
I think honestly, I quite like the idea of sure feet and sprint, just to, if they can find ways to keep up with the faster teammates, then it's only going to improve your team.
Yeah, when it comes to ogres and noblars, actually sure feet / sprint, I go for a 50-50 spread. The idea is that they end up as sure feet sprinters if they stay alive long enough, and you've got basically movement 8 Snotlings, and movement 8 with their dodging everywhere on a 2+. It's horrible. It's just horrible. You cannot. It's like trying to block water. Like it's genuinely. So Snotlings can be great. You've got pump wagons though, which and you've got some great positionals. So this is why this team is really exciting. It's because they're just a little bit spicy, just a little bit enough to be different. So we've looked at the roster. These guys come as with rerolls of 60, which is fine for stunty teams. It's a cheap enough roster to build. You can reliably get 3 or 4 rerolls. It's tempting to take 4 or 5 rerolls, but I don't know. I think 3 is probably enough. 4 is probably better, but there's just cool stuff to buy. What we're going to quickly do, Ben, is just have a look at some of the star players this team can take and see if you can spot the trend. We've got Bomber, Dribble Snot. We've got Fungus the Loon. So Bomber is the bomber. Fungus is the ball and chain. We've got Helmet Wolf. He's a chainsaw. We've got Madcap Mix, who is break, tackle, claws, leap, loner, no hands, very long legs, wild animal, 170k, 6438. It's a dude on a squig. You've got Morg Daddy, Noble Blackwort, who is chainsaw. You've got Ripper. Sweet Ripper at 270 with no nega trait. You got Scrapper Sawhead, who is the pogo stick guy, and you've got Ugroth Bolgrot, who is the orc with a chainsaw. So one of these is not like the other. 3 of these are the same.
This is a goblin star player list.
It is, but there's 3 chainsaws.
Oh yeah. You
got Nobbler, Helmet, and Ugroth Bolgrot.
Making up for the fact that you don't get the rostered one.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you will be under TV. You will have inducements for this team. So if you want to spend, 80k getting a ball and chain, or another bomber in Bomber Dribble Snot, 2 flingers and a bomber build, that could be really, really, really fun. You can afford Morg with the build, but you will have to drop your big guys, and you can get chainsaws to assist you in the fouling. I think the best value is Ugroth. He's only 100.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
You've got bribes. So if you're looking at star players, you've got a toolkit there. There's a couple of bruisers. There's a whole bunch of secret weapons. It's interesting. I'm not sure that any of these star players really stand out as being superb for this build, but we'll talk about builds when it comes to the 2016 builds section, because I've got some thoughts. But but one of the key things is that they have got Riotous Rookies as an inducement. So we saw this in the Ogre team. Basically it's 100k, and at the beginning of the game you get an additional 2d3 plus 1 journeyman, so somewhere between 3 and 7 extra Snotlings on your team, which can take you above 16. So we talked about the fact you can sneak extra players on using swarming. Riotous Rookies is how you reliably keep your team numbers up enough for you to be able to run 12, 13, 14 players on pitch.
I think this is the first inducement I would take on this team every time.
I think you're exactly right. You want the bribes. My camera has frozen, which is very frustrating. We've been doing so well today. Let's drop that to the bottom and get the creepy paused face off the screen for a second. Riotous Rookies is only 100k. It's such good value, and because your linemen have disposable, your TV is going to be down 20k per Snotling you buy, and realistically you're buying about 6 or 7 Snotlings, so you will always have the cash to buy Riotous Rookies, which is going to keep your ammunition stocked up. It's going to mean you've got a load of extra guys to field. So like Ben said, this is probably one of the most important parts of the Snotling build, is having Riotous Rookies one way or another. They could also take 0 to 3 bottles of Heady Brew, 40k each, at the start of a drive after setting up, but before the kickoff. The coach of the team with this inducement may randomly select D3 players with the stunty skill currently on the pitch. For the remainder of the drive, those players gain Dauntless Frenzy and Really Stupid. There's your Dauntless Frenzy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's terrible. I think I would actually kind of consider taking that, because Dauntless is actually a bit of a threat when you have a billion Snotlings.
You've got a billion Snotlings, and they're 2+ dodging wherever the heck they want.
Yeah.
They've got a good chance at getting a 1-die block, and even a 2-die block isn't that bad. Definitely a good inducement, and definitely a lot of fun can be had with the Heady Brew. I've never run it, but I have been tempted to do several times. And what it says there is the coach of the team with this inducement may randomly select D3 players with the stunty skill currently on the pitch. The question mark is whether that is just on your team. Where it says randomly select D3 players, at first read I thought it was select D3 of your players with stunty. I'm like, oh sweet, gonna give the stilty guy Dauntless, it's gonna be great. But actually it could just be a random stunty on the pitch, so it makes it a little bit less good. However, Really Stupid, it could be useful.
Yeah, is it rules as written versus intended? Do you think this is going to be your team?
I imagine there is an FAQ out there somewhere. Fortunately, I don't think anyone's ever taken this in a league or or game near us, so we've never had to come across it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that one goes out. And the last thing to talk about, and I briefly touched on this on the unboxing video, is the Night Goblin Sports Shaman. 150k, this is a wizard and available to Snotlings and Goblins team. All the normal rules apply. It is a wizard. It's got 2 spells. Foot of Gork or Mork. You cast this spell immediately after your turn has ended, even if it ended with a turnover. Choose a target square anywhere on the pitch that is not occupied by a player. The Foot of Gork or Mork moves in a straight line from the target square for 3 squares towards your opponent's end zone. Roll 1 dice to hit each standing player that occupies a square in the path of Foot or Gork or Mork. If the to hit roll is a 3 or more, the player is knocked down. If it's 1 or a 2, the player is fine. Make an armor roll for a player that's knocked down by the spell as if they'd been knocked down by a player with Mighty Blow. And if a player on the moving team is knocked down by the spell, then the moving team does not suffer a turnover unless they had the ball. So basically, you choose a square on the pitch, and then the 3 squares between the 3 next squares on the way to the opponent's end zone, you roll a dice for everybody in them, and on a 3+, they get knocked down. Is this a better fireball then?
I mean, it looks like that.
Because fireball's 4+. Alright, you get 9 target squares. This is 3+, but you get 3 target squares. You want to hit the ball carrier. So you can absolutely choose a square with the ball carrier is going to get hit by this, and it's going to be a 3+ to knock him down.
I think, yeah, it's the trouble with wizards, isn't it? That we say every time is it sucks when they just don't do the thing. Oh. Like you've paid for them and the dice just mean they don't do it.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah, I'd rather a better chance to do something, even if it affects less players. I think I would prefer this over a fireball.
I actually agree with you. Foot of Gork could be one of the best spells that's out there at the moment. Because 3+, 3+, 3+, statistically, you're going to knock 2 guys down. I mean, sure, if you've got a fireball, you're going to knock more down, but you've got a better chance at knocking down the player that you really need to knock down. The only downside is that it comes at the price of 3 bribes. Which...
Yeah, but with disposable, you're going to have...
You are going to have some TV.
A lot of cash.
Spore Cloud as the other spell. Cast this spell at the start of your opponent's turn before any player performs an action. Target an opposition player. On a 2+, they gain Loner and Really Stupid until the end of the drive.
Wow.
So on a 1 it does nothing, but on a 2+, they get Really Stupid and a 4+ loner role if they want to do anything. I mean, we saw it in Summer Sorcery. The effect of Wizards is just you do it now for the immediate effect, then you carry on playing Blood Bowl. The opportunity to give someone really stupid for the rest of a drive is quite entertaining, but I think I'd just rather try and knock them down on a 3+.
I'm just a bit curious because I don't see why you'd want to turn your opponent into a troll, because that's just going to come back to bite you.
Because they're just superior. Because they'll never need it. They'll never need it. It's interesting. I like Voragorkamork. I think that is a Snotling and Goblin team. So we might actually see, because like you said, Ben, both those teams, they do get the inducement money. We could see that spell being used.
It's very iconic. Very, very iconic spell.
And means you can get to buy a Night Goblin wizard with sunglasses to use for your Blood Bowl team.
Yeah, you can straight up use Zarbag for that.
He's even got his little basket of fungus.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. That wraps up all the core rules detail from the Spike, but now it's time to talk about the downside of this Spike magazine, which is that, yes, it's launching now, and it's launching after we've seen the leak for 2020, and all signs are pointing to the next edition of Blood Bowl 2020 coming out in sort of late November, early December, in holiday season, as they called it, which invalidates the majority of the stuff in this Spike. So all the team roster changes a little bit. The core rules change a little bit. I think the wizard will still count, but I bought it. I was always going to buy it for the podcast, but also because I like the art. I like having a little Blood Bowl magazine for whatever it is. Yeah. The digital copy being $4.99 is actually pretty good as well.
That is good.
Yeah, I don't remember their stuff being cheaper online, but
it's always been cheaper, but I didn't realize it was that much cheaper.
Yeah, it's about half price, which I had no problem picking up because I will lose the Spike, and now I can't. And it means I could take some screenshots and just chuck it on the channel. I don't know, Ben. How do you feel about the fact that the Spike is out now and Blood Bowl 2020 is coming round the corner?
It's the same with the cards, really. It's here. I think it would be weird if they didn't have one, but they haven't done one for every team. But I mean, lately they have. We still don't know technically when Blood Bowl 2020 is coming. We just know it is.
Yeah.
It could be like March next year, which rumors are the game is coming out March next year. So that is quite a way away. I'm sure you could get a good use out of your Spike between now and then. And also it's good for just giving ideas. I mean, we've had a load of like brewed up ideas from the Spikes.
Oh, absolutely. I love the fluff in it. I mean, it doesn't affect the game, but it is actually really cool to see the background. And I know I talked about this in my unboxing video, but I love the little segment where it has 4 famous teams. I find it really inspiring, like to go in and develop my own team or to base a team on the stories within it. It's just something I've really loved about most of the recent Spikes. Even the Old World Alliance one had them, and it just gets you inspired. It gets me inspired anyway.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you don't need it. You can play your Snotling team without it. So it's like if you want to have the lore, you want to see all the stuff inside, the extra goodies, and have the collector's item. You know, for the sake of a few quid, and in this hobby that isn't that much, you can have it. And if you don't want it, you don't have to have it.
Exactly. But I think if you don't pick it up and they never bring out the Spikes again, or you have to wait 5 years for a codex for Snotlings. Well, let me put it this way. Someone asked me yesterday if I had PDFs of some second edition stuff because it had really interesting lore, specific lore in it. I guarantee you that in 2022, 2023, someone's going to say, have you got the PDF of the Snotling Spike? Because there was a thing in there about the devastating Doomspire Death Dealers, and I want to read about it. And it's, we're not shilling. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's £8 or whatever. But if you like the team, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. And,
cool.
Yeah. However, the team itself, we're going to talk about builds now. We're going to talk quickly about builds in 2016 and also 2020. The build gets even cooler in 2020. So although it is sad that we're not going to get to play this in 2016 for very long, what the team becomes in 2020 is actually it gets a slight level up. So I'm more excited to play it in 2020 than I am in 2016, even though I am excited to play it in 2016. So I don't know. I'm torn, which is not a bad place to be as a gamer. But all right, should we have a look at these lists then, Ben?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right, let's go, and we'll start with the 2016 Snotling team rosters. Okay, and we're back. The camera is working. My settings are not, but I do have another cup of tea. So, Ben, thank you for allowing us to take a little hiatus. Right, we are going to look at some suggested starting builds for Snotlings in a league for the 2016 rule set. We're going to come to 2020 afterwards, although those of you who are following our YouTube channel will already seen a couple of rosters on there, but it gives us an opportunity to talk through stuff a bit more. So let's begin. I've got 2 rosters prepped for 2016, Ben. Are we interested to get your take? Because I didn't share these with you, because I 100% wrote them today. So
that's okay. I have one too, so we'll have to compare, see if we're on that.
Right, first up is the 2 pump wagon build. And this one contains, did I put it in the show notes? I did. So 2 wagons, 2 trolls, 1 flinger, 2 stilties, 2 hoppers, 6 snotlings, and 3 rerolls? I think I've written 4 on the screen, but I think I've put 3 rerolls down, and you can take a 4. So let's ignore the graphic and say there's 3 rerolls. That, in my estimation, takes it to 870. But you drop 120 of that for it takes it to 850. You drop 120 of that for disposable because you got 6 snotlings. So it means you get 270 petty cash. Okay, the maths adds up. I've just put 4 instead of 3 for rerolls. 270 petty cash normally if you're facing another TV 1 million. And the petty cash, I would use there 100 for rookies and 150 for bribes. So you get a little bit of leeway with 20k here or there. So if your opponent's going with a 980 list or something like that, you'll still get the full whack. You could take a second flinger, but you will probably lose a bribe from it when you're playing at the beginning of a league. So advantages of this, you get to use all the pump wagons. You get 4 strength 5 pieces. Yes, you've still got 3 bribes. You've got a flinger. You've got the pump wagon. So you should be able to keep whatever you choose on. And I think if you want to use the most models, this is the roster for that. However, we've also got a second build, or I've got a second build. The Ripper Wagon is what I've tentatively called this, which is 1 pump wagon, 2 trolls, 1 flinger, 2 hoppers, 2 stilties, 6 snotlings, and I've put 4 rerolls, but it is 3 rerolls again. This time, because you only take 1 pump wagon, you get 380 petty cash, which means you can spend 270 on Ripper and take 100k's worth of riotous rookies. So you've got no bribes, so you're going to have to use your pump wagon once and your flinger once, so you can argue the call. But then you can actually take Ripper. So you end up with 2 trolls plus Ripper and 1 million snotlings.
Yeah, I do like that because Ripper.
I thought you might.
Yeah, I going back to the first one.
Yeah.
You mentioned taking the 2 flingers. I would absolutely take the second flinger over the bribe there.
So 2 pumps, 2 flingers, and 2 bribes, basically.
Yeah, because you have the 2 pumps, I would probably put 1 on at a time until they're gone.
Yeah.
And keep the bombs coming and use the bribes to keep the wagons going. That's probably what I would do there.
That's not bad. The cool thing about both these rosters is you get a smattering of the positionals. And you get the flexibility there. So you can take a flinger, but you will probably have too much of a TV ever so slightly at the beginning of a league to get that reroll. So, but a flinger and a bribe, are the same thing, aren't they really, Ben? Except you get the advantage of being able to use 2 at once. So what was the roster that you brewed up?
For mine, it was This was again, it was going for like a model build rather than a what could I take for this build.
Yeah.
So I've got 1 pump, 2 trolls, 2 flingers, 2 hoppies, 2 stilters, 2 stealties, 7 snots, 3 rerolls, and then enough. I've basically would factor in getting rookies and 2 bribes. That would take you to 7. Sorry, without the inducements, it'll be 790. With inducements, 990. But then minus 140 for the 7 snots. So you'd be on
150.
140 with them at 20k, 7 snots.
Oh yeah, but then you said the roster was 990.
Yes, 990. So yeah.
So
yeah.
all in all, like you said, you'd be 150k under.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are you thinking for that? Sorry, the 1 riotous rookies and 1 bribe.
Yeah. With the it's 790. So minus.
Oh right. Oh gosh. Sorry. Okay. So
Yeah,
you got everything anyway.
Yeah, 790 minus 140. So you're on 650. So you have 350 to play with. So if you had 2 bribes, 2 rookies, you're on 850. Then you can't afford Ripper.
But you can afford a wizard.
You can. You're in perfect wizard range.
Well, that knight, either Fireball or that knight or the Mork, Foot of Mork and Gork.
You're right. Seeing that Foot of Gork did kind of make me think that might not be terrible.
Well, the thing is, you've got 1 billion Snotlings, so even if you can't pick up the ball, you can get them onto the ball.
Yes.
With probably 1, maybe 2 plus dodges. So you pop that ball out. I mean, Snotlings are not tough, but 1 tackle zone is 1 tackle zone.
Yeah, very true.
You're going to be applying those modifiers to the ball. So if you're up against a slow team, like Khemri or Dwarves, where their agility is quite poor, you drop that ball and chuck some tackle zones on them. You've cost them several turns of movement.
Yeah.
And that can be all you need to do, really.
Yeah, and you have got, like you say, you've got a lot of players. You could have enough there to get a chainsaw and then the brew. The speedy brew, if you wanted it.
A cheeky brew.
Yeah, with like either a helmet or a groth or something.
Yeah. Just a little bit more threat. Or you could take bomber for the extra,
Yeah, very true. For a third bomb.
The full artillery range of 3 bombardiers on this team.
That would be worth just trying, I think. See what that's like.
Who's got the other bomber? It's the
Chaos Dwarf. Is that who you mean?
Chaos Dwarf do have one. Yeah. So there's Chaos Dwarf bomber. There's the Dwarf bomber that also plays for Norse, and then there's the Goblin bomber. So in a mixed team, if you went half Norse or half Chaos Dwarf and half Snotlings, you could have all the bombardiers. No.
Yeah.
Which is better? Is it better to just take a half Goblin team and take the Goblin Bombardier and the Star for 4? For max Goblin Bombardier carnage.
You've got to work this out.
Yeah,
this might be a MegaBowl contender.
This is important. This is important for the max bomb nonsense, and a wizard, because although I may have put that in the rulebook not to include wizards.
Well,
I didn't
take Hail Mary Pass for the tournament build.
Yeah, loads 3 Hail Mary Pass bombardiers. Just that's my game plan. Just
I might do this.
Just the barrage, Bonehead barrage. There you go. The entire team is just solely focused on just bombardiering everything, and then losing promptly. Cool.
You reminded me. Sorry, this is totally irrelevant. But going back on a segment.
What do we got?
You asked me in the break, would I take the troll team out for another outing?
Oh yeah.
I could revamp the troll team now that Snotlings are out for an extra troll, because I had Orc before.
Oh yeah, this is what I was saying.
Yeah, you
can have
right.
5. You can have 5 trolls. The
Plus
2 Goblin, the 2 Snotlings, and Ripper. The 5 troll lineup with 3 bombardiers rostered.
Oh yeah, okay, that's happening.
Trolltillery.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So I think that is a very good way to move into the benefits of the Snotling roster. There's a lot of flexibility. You can take no pump wagons, but the problem is the model is so cool. Ben, if you're playing a game, would you how badly would you take it if your opponent said, "Look, I don't have any troll models. I'm just using my pump wagons as trolls"?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely fine. They got the same stat line. Yeah. I'd be more than happy for that, and actually kind of encourage it. I think if you weren't running a pump wagon build, I'd use them as trolls. I think that's actually a really good shout.
Yeah, so that's it. So if you are looking at playing Snotlings and you don't want to run the pump wagons or you don't have trolls, use them as your trolls. I think trolls are more important for this build. I mean, every build we've done has got 2 trolls in, Ben. Like,
Yeah.
that's just a thing we've done, because having the anchor of 2 strength 5 armor 9 pieces that get guard, and they also enable a throw teammate for a stretch play, they are just too important to not have. Whereas the pump wagons almost feel like you're taking a star player for the lols.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, I mean, they've got well, their agility 1, so the ability for them to get the ball is garbage. And then, even with break tackle, it's not great. It's not great at all. So the pump wagons are a lot of fun, but if you're just starting out and you've already got this box, just use those as your trolls. Most of your opponents are not going to mind at all. Don't do 1-on-1, because that is a bit squiffy. But if you say, look, just using these guys as trolls, not running any pump wagons, because I am focusing on my Snotling play, yeah, go for it. I think that's a great way around it. And I'd be very happy with that, because we do a lot of count-as models. And when you've got a team where there's just a couple of important positionals, you can do that, and people are going to be able to cope. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's almost nothing that'll be like a gotcha with that. Because it's the same stats, and like it's only really offensive skills. Then yeah,
it's Jog's dirty player is the benefit for the pump wagon, and no loner. But yeah, I just don't be afraid to just talk to your opponent and say, I want to use my pump wagons as trolls, so that you can actually use your pump wagons for the entire game. Like, it's reasonable, and the model is so cool. The model is so cool. We talked through the amount of star players these guys get. Ripper's probably the best for them at 270. You can take Morg, but he is £1 billion in 2016. So it's funny. This team's got disposable, and their guys are cheap. But you've got 4 big guys at 100k each, 110k each. It's only marginally cheaper than an Ogre team, and it almost feels, because they've got the swarming rule, that Riotous Rookies is ubiquitous. So immediately you've got the 2 trolls that you have to take. You've got Riotous Rookies that you really have to budget for. You've got at least 1 pump wagon, because it's just so fun. And that's 400 right there. And then you've got a bunch of Snotlings. So you got the flexibility to have a lot, but you give up a lot to get it. And so whether you do go 2 trolls, 2 pumps, or 2 trolls, 1 pump in 2016, you got a lot of choice, a lot of flexibility. But really, it's all going to be down to the hoppers and the stilties. They're the ones who are going to score the touchdowns, and everything else is
there just to support them.
Yeah, I think so. I really do think so. Anything else for 2016 builds for Snotlings, Ben?
I think that's all I had.
All right, fantastic. Let's move on to the next stage of Blood Bowl. We fast forwarded 4 years into the future. We're now in the next age of Blood Bowl, where everybody has a new stat, and it is the passing stat. And there's been some changes to the game, including the player costs. So in Blood Bowl 2020, the pump wagon costs 5k less. Every single Snotling also costs 5k less. They still have essentially disposable. The skill is called something different, but for all intents and purposes, it is the disposable skill. And the team, therefore, you get a lot more that you can buy. So we are going to have a look at the different builds you can do with the Snotling team in Blood Bowl 2020. So first up is the 2 pump wagon build. 2 pump wagons, 2 trolls, 1 flinger, 1 hopper, 1 stilty, 9 Snotlings. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16 players, 3 rerolls. That will give you 310 in petty cash for this roster. Let me just check that. Yeah, it does, because it takes you to 690. Then you top up with the 9 Snotlings. That means you can reliably take 150 worth of bribes and 100 in Riotous Rookies. Now, we talked about it before. You can boost up your roster. Flingers are still 30k in 2020, so you can take it. You risk losing a bribe, but you've got slightly more to play with here, because the pump wagons are cheaper. But one thing to be very aware of in Blood Bowl 2020 is that teams, because they are now priced in 5Ks, there are players and there are teams where the starting roster comes in at 960, 970 rather than a straight 1000. So you kind of got to lower your budget if you're relying on inducements. But you could happily take a flinger, a second flinger here, or the second hopper, a second stilty, and risk going down to just 2 bribes, which, Ben, we spoke about in the 2016 team list, didn't we?
Yeah. I think here I would keep the... No, okay, see, I think... Can I give my thoughts on this team?
Go for it.
The only reason I don't like it is because I'm not using both hoppers and stilties. I think it's really cool, but I just feel like you're gonna want both of them. I drop Snotlings to put more of those in,
but then
and lose the petty cash.
That's exactly it. So you can take the extra guys, and you can take them quite happily, but you do lose that certainty of the third bribe. And if you're upping your secret weapons, you kind of want more bribes. However, like you said before, is that if you've got 2 of everything, it gives you the flexibility to either deploy 2 at a time if you really need to and then rely on your bribes, or to just deploy 1 at a time. So if you take a second flinger, he counts as a bribe himself, because if your first one gets sent off, you just send the second one on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. So if you're buying a bribe to get your flinger back, just get the other flinger.
Yeah.
If that's the purpose for the bribe. Like, that's...
Well, the bribes are there for the pump wagons, really. And this is kind of... Actually, you get the opportunity to run both pump wagons for a drive, maybe on offense. Actually, 2 pumps, 2 trolls. That's a pretty solid... You got an opportunity to open some gaps there and do some serious mashing and still have the bribes to be able to reliably bring your players back on.
I think they somewhat compete with each other, though. Just where they both really want the blitzing role. Well, you could have 1 blitzer, 1 fowler. So, actually...
I mean, your 2 pumps. Yeah, I do like your idea of actually you've got 2 trolls to anchor and then 1 pump wagon to blitz in with jugs. Just take the advantage. I think you're right. And I think... Oh, that's the inducement page. It's the 4 reroll build. Oh, I don't have a 1 pump wagon version for 2020, Ben. This one here, I think, suits a little bit more. So 4 reroll build, 2 pump wagons, 2 trolls, 2 flingers, 2 hoppies, 2 stilties, 6 snotlings, 4 rerolls, only 180 petty cash, which means you get 1 bribe and riotous rookies. So I think you're right, Ben. I think in this situation, actually, if you drop that second pump wagon, you get 3 bribes, riotous rookies, and 2 of everything.
Yeah.
So I think
this is very similar to the one I had.
Yeah, I think the 4 reroll, 1 pump wagon roster might actually be the best.
I think so. I don't think the pump is really going anywhere if you have the bribes to keep it on. I think he's either gonna do his thing, get sent off, and hopefully have done his thing beforehand, or he's not going to do much, and then it doesn't really matter anyway. Like, I feel like a second pump wagon is just a tax, and you can open up the team to so much more opportunity. It also depends on how you think you might want to play them. Like with the Goblin team, right? You sometimes want to be slower because you want to just destroy them before all your fun stuff gets sent off.
Yep.
Snotlings have less of that. You don't have your ball and chain. You don't have your chainsaw. Yes, you got your 2 bombs, I guess. You got your 1 bomb, exactly. He's more valuable. In this, you have 2 bombs here. So you can just kind of keep going. I feel like Snotlings are going to play faster. I feel like you're going to want to just keep going. And I think trying to... I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just feel like... you just want to keep at it, get all your flingers in, keep your pump wagon on, just use the bribes on the pump wagon, and then just keep running. I just don't think you want to stand and bash, and you might be able to stand and bash if you get the star players to do it. I don't know. I'm rambling.
I actually agree. I think this is going to be quite a mobile offense, despite the fact you got those 2 trolls. The 2 trolls kind of just work as terrain. Your pump wagon strikes, and the rest of your team, of which you should have a very large number, for Blood Bowl comparatively, because basically you're running 2 trolls plus another team of Blood Bowl. And you get a lot of movement, so you can do the gang fouls. You can just have a ridiculous screen of 9 Snotlings. Yeah, they're not going to go very fast, but at some point they're going to make a massive sprint action of 2+2+2+2+2+, and just go half the pitch. No, not half the pitch. Half the pitch. So a quarter of the pitch. But yeah, I think this is going to give you the most opportunity to do everything you want to do. So yeah, I think 4 rerolls, 1 pump. Ben, I think you've called it, man. I really do. And I regret putting the Snotling video out before I talked to you in depth about this, because you've made me see the error of my ways. If only there was a way to turn this round. For example, using the Snotly Grack build, which I do think is probably the best build you can use. If you want to go pure Snotlings, do the other one. The 4 rerolls, 1 pump wagon. If you want to try your best to win the game or just really go for it, if you want to be a try-hard Snotling coach, then the Snotly Grack build is for you, I think. 1 pump wagon, 2 trolls, 1 flinger, 1 hopper, 1 stilty, 8 Snotlings, 3 rerolls, and then, of course, because you're saving 415 petty cash then... Oh, I got the wrong thing. You get Grack and Crumbleberry for 250 in Blood Bowl 2020, which still leaves you enough for 100 for the Riotous Rookies. Now, Ben, Grack and Crumbleberry has kick teammate.
Yes.
What is it that is great about this roster?
On this you can throw, you can kick, and you can lob a bomb.
All in one turn.
Yeah, which is just really cool. I think opening Grack and Crumbleberry to just everyone, I think they're going to become the real kind of hot pick for star players in a lot of teams.
It's like a really powerful colourless artifact in Magic, or just dual lands, isn't it? Like fetch lands. Like, oh yeah, everyone's got to have it. Or it opens up a valuable bit of list building. But this roster functions just fine. Pump wagon, 2 trolls, flingers. You know, you can add the second flinger, hoppy or stilter. All right, you position us there. You can take the second hoppy. You know, you can do that, and all it's going to do is reduce your likelihood of getting that bribe or that inducement cash. But if you're happy to gamble with it, like you said, Ben, actually having a pump wagon, 2 flingers is almost the same as having a pump wagon, a flinger, and 2 reroll and 2 bribes. You know, you can move around it, but having Grack and Crumbleberry to give you 16 players, as long as you can still get those Riotous Rookies, your team is going to be up there in the 19 to 23 players. And you can throw them with your trolls, you can kick them with Grack and Crumbleberry. You've got Crumbleberry, who is a strength 2 halfling as well, which actually does add a bit. Plus, you get an Ogre. So you've got 2 trolls, an Ogre, and a pump wagon. Walk into a bar. I think it just soups up the team. And in current Blood Bowl, you've got the halfling builds where they purposefully stick to 600k so they can take deep root reliably. I think Grack is going to be the deep root for Snotlings, because
I think so.
Just opens up more tactics and just really strengthens the build.
I'm also looking forward to seeing what people come up with, because we've been talking about this in our club, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of like, Grack and Crumbleberry is basically big guy plus stunty. I think you can kind of be quite flexible with that. Oh. Like you could have a troll goblin combo. You could have like a massive orc and a goblin. I don't know. Like human halfling.
From a modelling point of view, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you wanted to take Grack and Crumbleberry on elf team, somehow you're 250k down. Actually, having a strength 5 piece and a throw teammate available to you, you take Birch from Windsor Chog and a halfling model, doesn't look that out of place. And you've got a big guy with throw teammate on your elf team. I mean, there's better things to spend 250k, but I don't know, if you wanted to be a fun elf, you've got an option of modelling stuff. I did manage to swing a Grack and Crumbleberry on eBay actually for
Ooh, nice.
£21. So that's about,
actually very good.
about RRP. So I'm really happy with that, because I was looking at these lists and I was like, Grack is about to be very important, I think, to have as an asset. But yeah, some great modelling to be had. And I just think there's definitely one to do that. So if you're going to go all Snotlings, then the 4 reroll, 1 pump, rookies and bribes. If you want to chuck in a star player and just open up the additional potential for modelling, or quite frankly, if you've got Ripper, at the moment he doesn't exist in Blood Bowl 2020, you use Ripper as Grack and you grab a Goblin or a Snotling that looks particularly special and you just use them as Grack and Crumbleberry. So you can still use your Ripper. Because I think there's probably going to be a lot of people out there with some lovingly painted Ripper models that are worried they're not going to get use. Well, he just got slightly worse, but now he can kick stuff. So it's just Ripper on a bad day. So I think I think that'll be about right. 2020 is going to change a couple of other things for the Snotling team. So Leap gets a little bit worse for the bouncers because they've got -1 for tackle zones. So they will get less important. But the ability to take a random agility skill on 3 SPP means that your team's going to get an opportunity to get stuff quicker, which might help. I mean, maybe not. We don't really know how that's going to play out. But I think
more importantly, we're going to be able to keep our Snotlings. And just like if they get SPP, it's fine. They get SPP. You don't have to keep firing them. I think you're going to have access to more and more cash.
You are absolutely going to have access to more cash. But also, if you take a random skill, a Snotling with a random skill is only 25k. Now, obviously, they're disposable, so they don't count towards your team value no matter what, whether they've got skills or not.
That's true. That is true.
So it doesn't actually matter. But, you've always got that in your mind of, I don't want to take... this Goblin doesn't want to take the double skill because then he almost doubles in value. Or this for a Snotling, they don't want to take a skill because they literally double in value. Well, it's not going to be the case in Blood Bowl 2020. So you are going to be able to keep your guys. They are going to be able to grow up and develop skills, and it means you're going to be extra sad when they die. But Blood Bowl
How much is strength 2 now?
Oh my goodness me! That would be it's extra 80k. That's
100k Goblin.
That's a really interesting point. Actually, I don't know. I might actually have it wrong when it comes to disposable and how it works in Blood Bowl 2020, because I haven't really considered anybody living long enough to kind of be able to take advantage of that, and I certainly didn't consider the potential for them to get a strength up. But yeah, strength now costs 80k, which is incredibly unrealistic. Inducements, no, that's not it. Let's look for team special
It's also
rules.
a lot of touchdowns that Snotling's going to have to score.
Oh yeah, it's 18 for a stat up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Team special rules, page 106. Here we go. Boop. 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 Low cost lineman. In league play, when calculating the current value of any permanently hired lineman, the hiring fee of that player is not included. So their stat ups do count. So Snotlings just... but anyway, the point is that if you take a random skill, it's only 10k. So that Snotling then adds 10k to your TV instead of what would have been the old money, 40k. So... you're absolutely quids in, which means you should be able to reliably keep affording Riotous Rookies. I think Riotous Rookies mixed with Swarming is going to be the main Snotling game plan, or the main Snotling advantage. And I don't know if you saw this, Ben, but a listener messaged us saying they got their first game in against Snotlings. They played Norse versus Snotlings. The Norse team won 2-0, but they ended up with 6 players on the pitch because he was playing.
Really?
Well, he's playing 11 players against 22. He said they just didn't stop. There was just so many of them. They kept outnumbering him 2-1 on the pitch.
That's beautiful.
I know, which is cool. And as a potential Snotling player, that makes me very excited.
Oh yeah, I'm so looking forward to getting his team on the pitch.
Yeah, And then we haven't even approached the topic of sevens for them. But you've got to have a pump wagon. It's a terrible idea, but you've got to give it a go. I think that is probably enough Snotling nonsense for today. I think we've covered everything.
I think so. I mean, I can't get enough of this team, though. Keep talking about it for years. I
just want to see how the little positional guys work. I just want to see them do great stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they will, because, they just are so above average that I just think they're going to be really mighty. And I cannot wait for those to start leveling up. Anyway, we will wrap it up for an episode here. Ben, thank you ever so much for joining me and talking Blood Bowl nonsense on this episode 50 of the podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
And guys, thank you very much for listening. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel and on social medias, because we are doing more teams, and hopefully you would have already seen Ben's painting video. But basically, when it launches, if you see the video, give him loads and loads of praise so he does more, because I think it's brilliant. And
thank you.
Yeah, that's wicked. Right, let's wrap up. I got work in the morning. Ugh. I just want to I just want to play Snotlings.
Yeah, sad times.
Right, guys, we will see you in a couple of weeks. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.